I should have listened to my gut the moment the second knock came. It was Halloween. Midnight. I live in a quiet rural town in Pennsylvania, the kind of town where trick-or-treating is over by 8, and you can actually hear the leaves whispering across your porch if the wind's just right. I already handed out the candy to the kids, made myself the spiked cider, and was halfway through a horror flick when it happened. I paused the movie. It was midnight. Too late for trick-or-treaters, and too rhythmic for a drunk neighbor. 2 again. Exactly the same. I walked to the front door, mostly curious. I didn't feel afraid, not yet. And I opened it. 2 kids stood there. A boy and a girl, maybe 10, maybe younger. It was hard to tell. They were wearing outdated costumes like something from a 1950s photograph. The boy had a paper boy cap and suspenders, a little too big for his frame. The girl wore a white dress with ruffles and tiny red shoes that looked caked in something dark. Their skin looked pale, wrong, plastic almost, but the worst part, the part that made my throat dry instantly, were their eyes. They were just pits, not hollow, not sockets, just smooth, featureless black like 2 puddles of oil that didn't reflect any light. I couldn't tell where they were looking.
Trick or treat,
they said in Usian, flat, robotic, and cold. I stared for a moment and then laughed nervously. I think you're a bit late. They didn't move. And when I say they didn't move, I mean it. They didn't breathe or even blink. Okay. Good costumes, I added. But seriously, it's after midnight. You should go home. They didn't flinch. The girl tilted her head. Can I come in? The air changed. I don't know how else to describe it. It was like the temperature dropped 10 degrees, but I didn't feel cold. I felt heavy, like the atmosphere had thickened around me. I looked at them again, and a flicker of movement behind their legs caught my eye. A third one, smaller, crouched low like a dog. Its skin was gray like old meat, stretched too tightly over sharp joints. No face, just skin, yet it was smiling. You could feel the sick grin radiating from something without a mouth, like it was imagining you in pieces. I stepped back. You can come in, I said without meaning it. Seriously, I didn't say or think it. It was like my mouth just said it for me. The girl moved first, 1 step forward. Don't you want to play with us? She asked. Then the boy. It's Halloween. It's just one night a year. The thing behind him stood up, its knees bent the wrong way. It sniffed the air with no nose, and I could hear a wet, slurping inhale like someone drinking through their skin. I slammed the door, locked the bolt, and turned the deadlock, and then leaned back, my heart jackhammering. I live alone. No kids, no pets. I shouldn't have heard footsteps inside the house. But I did. Upstairs, slow, deliberate. Thud. My chest tightened. My phone was still on the couch. I took a step back and then froze. There was someone standing in the hallway. Not a kid. A man, at least 6'5", dressed in a tattered suit. His head was bent low like he had been hanged, neck snapped and twitching as he turned toward me. His smile was too wide, too many teeth. His hands were missing fingers. Some looked gnawed off, some were chewed to the bone. He opened his mouth to speak, but instead of words, a dozen tiny hands spilled out like a nest of infant spiders, crawling, reaching, grabbing the air as they scattered toward the floor. I lost it. I ran back to the living room, grabbed the fireplace poker, and swung wildly when the lights flickered out. Total darkness. Except for 1 candle, lit on the floor in the center of the room. It hadn't been there before. The flame flickered and shadows danced, but there was no heat, no warmth, only a smell, something between burnt hair and milk left in the sun. I gagged. The man appeared again, behind the flame, closer now. He whispered something, and I swear to God, it slid inside my head.
Thanks for inviting us.
I backed away. The wall hit my back, and I thought about jumping out the window or anything. And then I saw them again, the 2 kids standing in the mirror this time. Only they weren't reflections. They waved. Their faces were wrong now. The girl's mouth opened too wide, splitting ear to ear with needle teeth. The boy's eyes began to leak, thick black tears that sizzled when they hit the ground. And then the girl climbed out of the mirror, not like she stepped through it, like the glass was meat. She peeled herself from inside it, bones cracking, joints reversing. I remember screaming, and then the third one, the skinwalker dog thing, launched onto my chest, pinning me, its fingers, tongues, all of them. It explored me, violated me, but not in any way a human could define. More like it was tasting my organs, sifting through me with every wet stroke, finding my liver most sweet and eating it. The kids laughed. Darkness went across my eyes and I disappeared. I woke up sweaty in my bed, and I was relieved, realizing everything that had just been was a dream. I went downstairs to grab some breakfast, and I looked at the time, and it was November 1st. I sighed, realizing I must have fallen asleep early yesterday. But when I checked the mailbox, I found something really weird inside. I found a half-eaten liver and a letter reading, "Thanks for the visit. See you next year. Happy Halloween." I quickly called the authorities. They checked everything in my house and garden but found nothing. Later, after an x-ray at the hospital, a doctor came in and gave me a really confused look. "We have very strange findings," he said. I looked at him, my mouth dry, chest still aching from whatever the hell that thing had done to me. "The good news is we were able to replace your liver before any bigger problems arose," he continued. I blinked. Wait, what? Replace? He nodded slowly, eyes flickering between me and his clipboard like he didn't trust either. "Yes, but somehow," he hesitated, rubbing the bridge of his nose. "Without any cuts, bruises, or even marks at all, someone..." This is going to sound really strange. "It's almost like someone magically removed your liver. There's no incision, not even a scar, or nothing. It's like it evaporated." I was stunned. How the hell does someone even explain that to someone? How the hell is this even possible? The doctor just shook his head, and that's what we're trying to figure out, he said. And then he left the room with a weird tension in his shoulders, like he couldn't get away fast enough. And that is where we are right now. 2 years passed since that incident, and I'm sitting in my home writing this. I've moved 3 times since that Halloween, changed my name, threw away every mirror in my house. I don't answer the door after dark, and I don't keep clocks. I never say the words trick or treat. I thought maybe if I isolated myself, if I kept quiet, if I forgot the dream, maybe it would leave me alone. I want to look at myself and be sure that this was all just a dream, but I don't know anymore. Lately, I've been waking up with strange bruises in places I can't explain, on the backs of my thighs, inside my mouth, on my ribs, something shifting under my skin. The doctors say it's stress-related nerve activity, but I know better. They're building something inside me, and I can't do anything to stop it. It is what it is, but please, just take with you what I've told you through this story. Just be careful on Halloween, especially around midnight.